am, I'm going to be sipping on this because I have minerals. I'm in about 36 hours of a fast. So anyway, if I'm drinking, I hope it doesn't distract you, but this morning woke up, I'm like, I need minerals. Anyway, okay. So so last week this is the funny ironic thing. So last week we went camping, which was really fun, but we went in our boat and we have like a little cubby cabin or whatever you call it, a cuddy cabin underneath. And so we're like, oh, we should sleep in the boat and give it a try. So we did, and it was a lot of fun. But I woke up like all of a sudden, like at 3 in the morning. I think it was 3 in the morning, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm awake now. But then it's one of those where it's still dark, but you're not sure how early it is. I thought it was maybe like 5:30 or something. But I was awake and awake. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's still dark. This is terrible. But anyway, but the cool thing is sometimes I feel like God wakes me up for certain things or for whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wake up and think and talk and pray. So what did come to me was the idea of really wanting to help you all as a group to just really do a focused fast together. So now that we kind of went through what we did. We went through all of the 8 lessons together, week by week. And I know not everybody was able to watch all of them, which is fine. But a lot of us did. And so what I would love to do is a focused fast. And that's kind of the words that came was be more focused. And so I know we're all at different levels, we're all at different places, but all of us have gone through at least 8 weeks of lessons. And I do believe that we're all at the place where we could really do this together before I bring in a brand new round of people. And so not just the reason why I want to do focus fast is because I want everybody to tap into the benefits and the results from doing it. So I think the hardest thing, I think what really inspired me to do this or think of this is because over the past couple of weeks, I think during the summer too, it kind of gets thrown off, but past couple of weeks, like people have been commenting or like, oh man, I'm doing all this work, or I'm not able to stick, I'm doing all this work, but nothing's happening, or I'm on and off and I have a hard time sticking with it. So I was like, okay, let's start fresh. Let's just, oh, I have you in the waiting room, Annette. Did you?
Yeah, my computer's finally joining.
Do you want me to admit you on that one or? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. It might do something funky for a second,
Right.
like with your mic, but okay, I'll bring you in.
All right, let's see.
The juggle. There we go. Oh, look at you. Cool. Oh, there we go. Wow, magical. Oh, and then okay. So anyway, okay, so yeah, focus fast. And then I was thinking about it. What I want to call it is fast 40. And so God always has numbers, like numbers mean a lot. They have significance. And 40 is a time of transformation or renewal. So 40, 40 days in the desert, 40 days, 40 years in the desert, 40 days of Jesus fasting, even gestation, 40, is it weeks of gestation? Like, so 40 and even 40, the age 40, I know for me, it was a huge seasonal transition. But the number 40, is it 40 days and 40 nights of rain, right? In the ark. So that number is significant to like a fresh start, like a new season. Like the old has gone, the new has come. So I really feel like the number 40 and in our group, right? Over 40 and fabulous or however, fit over 40 on my F's. So anyway, yeah, so I really feel like 40 is significant. And it's a 6-week period, and 6 weeks, I know, like, I don't know if you guys have heard, but like if you've been go to the doctor and you hurt, like break a bone or strain a muscle, they say, okay, take 6 weeks, take a break. 6 weeks is usually the amount of time your body needs to heal and rejuvenate. So there's significance to that. So fast 40 is what I'm going to call it. And we're not going to fast for 40 days. I'm not that crazy, but we're just going to do scheduled, almost like a workout, but like on a calendar, scheduled fasting for 40 days. So we're going to do it as a group. So we're going to start at 16 hours because I know most of us can do at least 16 hours, at least from what I've heard from everybody. I'm going to put together, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to put together a little fasting calendar or schedule. Um, and I was thinking about doing like an intermediate and an advanced schedule, but the idea is we're going to start 16 and then we're going to incrementally get longer. Not longer every day per se, but just gradually increase fasting time until we can all be at 36, which for a lot of us might be like, what? 36? That's ridiculous. For example, like for me, somebody that says, oh, I'm doing a 5-hour water fast or 5-day water fast, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that makes me anxious. Or even doing 72 again, that makes me anxious. So for somebody who's used to doing, 14 or 12, hearing 36 is like, you got to be kidding me. But it's doable. We just have to train to do it. And the 36 is a good number because that's where you really, like I told you guys before, you really end up tapping into like deep detox, where you just tap into those deep recesses in your body that have been storing body fat and it's just hard to get rid of, or any toxins or chemicals that have really been like from years ago that we've been storing from years, or sugars we've been storing from years ago. You can really tap into that at the 36-hour mark. So in order to see a breakthrough and to be able to do bigger things, I feel like getting to at least 36 is going to be a big game changer. So that's what I would love to get us all to. And part of the feeling of being anxious is part of what we are going to grow through. It's that anxiety and fear of the feeling of deprivation is scary because many of us have never been taught how to handle deprivation beyond what we're comfortable with. And a lot of times diets fail because of that not being able to handle the feeling of deprivation, which makes sense because it's a human need, right? It's a basic human need is food, right? Food, shelter. Um, so we need to learn how that it's okay and it's safe. I'm not going to do something that's unsafe with you all, but it's safe and our bodies are actually designed to go without food for longer periods of time, which you all know. But knowing that it's okay, but with our culture and just, I think too, as moms and grandmas and so on, we part of our nurturing is feeding, and nurturing ourselves is also with food, or how we've been nurtured from other people in our lives has also been related to food, or even going to doctor's offices and having kids, growing up, or just doctors will tell you, oh, your child is very small or too thin or not gaining weight fast enough. But is that really a problem? It's like, is that really inhibiting your growth? And just working in pediatrics over the years as a dietitian and just meeting with other moms in this field, that it doesn't really matter that much unless it's really inhibiting their like emotional and physical and neurological development, because everybody's body is different, right? So just because you're not eating or feel like you're eating enough, it's not necessarily hindering you. It can actually be helping you. So the charts of body weight and BMI are subjective, um, just from what I've experienced over the years and what I've kind of boiled it all down to. So anyway, yeah, but I just want to address that. Yes, fasting can be scary if you're not used to it, if you're not used to handling deprivation. That's how we have to gradually get into it and not just say, okay, I've never done it before, but today I'm going to do a 24-hour fast. It's doable and it's okay. You'll be fine. It's just more mentally and emotionally challenging than anything. And especially if you're getting low blood sugar, you're getting a headache, if your body energy is low, if you're starting to get anxious, or the stomach hunger is like way too much, you can do it and you'll survive, but it's just going to be really uncomfortable. So preparing to do it with the right foods and eating well the few days before is going to make it a lot easier. Having the tools on hand to do it, like minerals, or make sure you have water or tea or however, is good. So anyway, so that's what I would like to do with you all. And I really feel like doing like a challenge within a challenge is helpful too, because I would also love for our community to become stronger as a community, because fasting can be a little intimidating, surrounding each other with support and affirmation and love and just accountability is going to skyrocket your results ultimately in this whole process. So I really want to encourage that. And I feel like doing a mini challenge within a challenge together will build that camaraderie and community and support. And ultimately, like I said, the whole goal of this is body fat loss as we age, right? To break through that, but then also reversing the aging process as well, or slowing it down. So why not go for it together, right? So, okay, so that's my idea. I'm going to put together, like I said, a little calendar, a 40-day calendar of this fasting schedule. So I have to map it out and look to see exactly how it'll work, but it'll start out for sure with at least 16 hours and an 8-hour eating window. And then I'll adjust it from that point. And then with the goal of getting to at least 36 one time. Okay. And then after that, then we'll just take it from there and see how everybody's doing. And then if we need to revisit it, we'll do it again. So, and there's no failure. Nobody's, if you mess up and accidentally eat something, it's not a big deal. We'll just keep moving on, as is life, right? So yeah, so that's the case. So that's the plan. So what do you all think? What do you two think?
Sounds cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And I know, and I have gone a little bit longer, but I think it's kind of good just to get that, that practice in and just that consistency. I know for me, like the longer I go, the more experienced I get, the more I feel like I can just go like day to day, like, oh, I'm going for 18 today, but I feel okay. I don't need to eat right now. So I'll just keep going, right? Or I'm going to break it sooner just because, for whatever reason, because I'm going out to eat or whatever. But I think for me, like having more of a schedule and regimen will, for me, just feels good to have consistency. But then there are times, when you kind of start to spread your wings and like, oh, I could totally go longer. It's not a big deal. Like yesterday was supposed to be 18-hour fast. And then my husband's like, oh, I'm not going to eat dinner tonight because I want to do a 24-hour fast. And then to support him, I'm like, well, I don't want to eat dinner in front of him either. And I'm okay. So I'm like, I'm just going to go for it. We'll do it together. And so he's going to break it today at 10, I think, this morning. So, but yeah, so the kind of, when you start to get that metabolic flexibility and your body's like, I can go longer, it's okay. It's a really cool thing because that means you're really able to more easily and more readily tap into body fat stores without a hitch. So, Annette, have you found that doing longer fasts, do you have more flexibility with?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you feel like it, you're just like, okay, I'm not going to start eating yet. Even though my timer dings and it says, oh, it's time to end my fast. I'm like, well, no, maybe not.
Yeah, I feel okay. It's like you feel fine.
Yeah.
So it's really about checking in, right? Making sure that
Yeah.
you're doing okay. So how about you, Kari? Have you experienced anything like that? I know you've kind of done some longer, right? How long have you gone so far?
I think it was 36.
Okay, yeah. So you've been there too. Yeah. So at least you did it two overnights, two sleeps with fasting. 2 sleeps, yeah, with fasting. So so how was your experience? Do you remember what that was like for you?
It was very freeing and very satisfying and what's the word? Just, like, wow.
Yeah, like gratifying, like, wow, I did that and it's doable, right? I didn't and you're here to talk about it, right? You didn't wither away or anything. Yeah, I know, right? And that's the thing is like it just takes practice. And I know for me it's more of a mental game, like like a 5-day fast. Holy moly. Like I mean, if I'm called to do it and I feel like I need to do it for whatever reason, maybe I'll go there at some point. But yeah, I don't know. We'll get there. I know Annette did it a while ago, right? A 5-day. Yeah. And what was it? Oh, you mentioned, I think, that you just kind of started just living every day, but without food, and you just did your thing, and it
actually was simpler.
Yeah. Was it simpler? Yeah. That's true, right? Yeah, because you don't have to prepare food and
I'll clean up afterwards. That's a big one for me.
See, I know you have like big budget. My thing is like, it's a big budget saver and I have like a ton of food in my fridge and everybody else can eat it. And it's just one of those, it's euphoric in a way. It's a really weird feeling, but it's controlled. So it's not just that you're starving yourself. It's a controlled, what's the word? Like pre-thought out thing, not just I'm just not going to eat, it's for your health. And it's crazy how that mindset is totally different, like from, let's say, I don't know, just randomly you went away on vacation, or one night was at home and had a big binge at night, and then you woke up the next day and you're like, oh, I feel terrible. Forget it, I'm not just going to eat. I'm just not going to eat because I need to I feel better. And it's really easy to start fasting when you're feeling that way. But then all of a sudden, like 5 hours later, you're like, wait, I'm starving again. Right. But it's a different mindset. It's more of like a punishment than it is like serving your health and well-being. So yeah, it's a totally different mindset. That's like, I think that's why how dieting is different. Because it's a lot of times it's also like I said, it's more punishing. Like, oh, I gained all this weight, I'm not going to eat, or I gained all this weight, I have to do this diet. It's more of like a urgency than like the way Annette described it was like the tortoise method. It's you just slow and steady wins the race. You just keep going for it and let and happen. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, cool. My body's changing. And even before the weight on the scale changes, you just see a physical change, like maybe how your clothes fit, or just how your body looks in pictures, or just other ways, you can start noticing a difference. I know for me, like I have this little bone here that I never really felt. And like when I'm fasting, I'm like, oh, that's like my indicator. I'm like, oh, I feel it. That's my little indicator of like, oh, that's my little thing. But you guys, have any of you guys noticed different indicators for yourself? Like some people lose weight in their face first, or like the extra layers of fat gone, or like less bloating. Do either of you guys have an indicator of like when fasting started working, or you started seeing a change in your
I'm
body?
not quite sure about that, but I know there
Okay.
is definitely less bloating when I'm not eating, for sure.
Right. Yeah. Right. Your gut's getting cleaned up, and
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. It was really good. Have you noticed anything, Kari, for yourself? Like if when your body weight's changing or anything?
Yeah, I think it's the weight in my face.
The weight in your face. Yeah. Yeah. I know everybody has their thing. I know in the past it's been that for me too. Especially when I think I noticed it mostly um like during pregnancy. Like I would look at pictures, or like just my mom would take a picture of me like sitting somewhere, and it's like this huge like round face. I'm like, oh, okay, that's my pregnancy picture, even though you don't see my body. But then when I after delivery and the weight came down, I'm like, oh, okay, everything's coming down. So yeah, sometimes your face will show it too. Okay, so that's the plan. So I'm actually wanting to start us on Monday with this fast 40. Why not, right? Just go for it. So like I mentioned earlier, I had this thought last weekend, but I kind of wanted to wait to really process it before I shared it with you all. So that's the plan. And if you want to, like I was saying, Annette, if you want to do a little bit more advanced, if you want to start with 18, or whatever your normal thing is, if you don't want to go backwards um, and do 16, that's fine too. But yeah, however works. What else? Okay, so let me go back to my notes here. So on Tuesday is our guest speaker, which is perfect timing because Dr. Nina is going to be our guest speaker on Tuesday. And she's going to actually share about how to handle deprivation partially. And then also why, okay, I'm making my notes here. She has a whole list of things she wants to talk about. It's basically the psychology of eating, which is really cool. Let me find what she told me here. Okay, so her specialty is working with binge eating and helping women who have been chronic dieters, like the diet binge, kind of, she calls it the madness cycle. But she wants to talk about why nighttime eating is a problem for many people, some practical steps to stop the madness of like emotional eating, how to recognize hidden motivations for emotional eating, why diets fail. She's going to share this her personal story about how she got interested in this area. And then she said definitely she's open to talking about, she did a whole radio show on she calls it I'm happy to discuss anything to do with the psychology of deprivation and how to deal with anxiety and how to feel your emotions instead of using food to stuff them. So I think that's perfect timing. It's really cool. I'm excited to have her. So she's going to be on Tuesday at 11 Pacific time.
Cool.
in here in the Zoom room. So yeah, and I'll get the recording of that. Yeah, so that's that one. And then the other thing, okay, so I'm just going to answer a couple of questions that I had from people during the week. I told them I would answer them here. Okay, so okay, well, another thing is, so now that school for me is back in session for homeschooling, I'm going to go back to our old, I kind of contemplated this a lot, but back to our old meeting time instead of doing it early in the morning on the weekend. I need to go back to Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm not sure how that works with you all, but I'm going to give it a go. And that way I can do my morning school time with my kids, give them lunch, and then I'm going to start my work time around 1. So I'll give that a go, see how that works. Yeah, and I figured 1 Pacific is like just around lunchtime, and then 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern is like kind of a quiet time for most people in the afternoon. And then anybody beyond that, actually, we have like Australia, New Zealand, and Canada actually works too for that time. So that was the hardest part, was like trying to figure out, okay, first of all, what works for my family and me, and then what works for everybody else. So anyway, we're gonna give that a go. So next Thursday at 1 is what we'll start doing for the weeks.
Okay.
And okay, awesome. Okay, so so this is a couple of the questions. So one of the questions was, what breaks a fast? And this is like that elusive question. What breaks a fast? What doesn't break a fast food wise? So I'm just going to go over all this stuff. And there's so much conflicting research. And I'm sure I've talked about this before, but I'm going to address it again briefly. So you can like rack your brain, literally, like it's a rabbit hole of information. So I talked about before, the fasting purists, right? Water fast, dry fasting for no more than 24 hours is a true fast. So water only or hot tea, herbal tea. And what I've recently understood is even like taking caffeine and coffee out for a pure fast. And caffeine, because it stimulates adrenaline, puts your body into what was it? Something metabolic. I don't remember exactly what it was. I have to look it up again. But taking out caffeine while you're for purity of a fast, if you really want a pure fast for healing, then to eliminate caffeine as well, because it affects adrenaline. So that's one of them. And then, yes, so that's a pure fast. So for a pure autophagy fast, to break down any of the bad cells in your gut, to kind of clean house, a water fast is optimal. You can do some bone broth. So that's autophagy fasting. For ketosis fasting, ketogenic fasting, which is if you have anything above 0 calories, it's going to break autophagy. So 1 calorie or any semblance of food, or even chewing. This is another one I found. Chewing or anything that's going to induce or wake up your digestive system, whether it's chewing gum, even if it's sugar-free gum, chewing gum, eating foods or supplements. Because if let's say you take magnesium supplements, even though it doesn't have any calories, it still stimulates digestion. So yeah, there's so many nitty gritty, things. If you really want healing, then you just have to do water. Any kind of fats, whether it's MCT oil or coconut oil, again, stimulates digestion. So that's basically the bottom line. If it stimulates digestion, then you're breaking autophagy. Water, I guess, doesn't fit that category, which is lovely because we couldn't fast very long without it. And if you want to do like sparkling water, you can, but unflavored sparkling water will not break autophagy. Or herbal tea. Okay, so those are the main things. Anything that has a calorie or above, even coffee, I was looking into it. Sometimes it even has like 5 calories, which is a thing. I guess it makes sense at some level. But anyway, but that's for a purist, right? So that's what you want to go for. If you really need healing and you really want to dive into that, that's fine. Go for it. You can do minerals. You can do salt also. But if you're going to do the minerals, you want to do unflavored minerals. I know the element that I have in my bottle is watermelon flavor. But Element also sells a product without flavoring. It's just a plain one. And you can also do that. and continue autophagy. So those things are fine. But anything that stimulates digestion outside of that is what breaks it. Okay, so however, beyond that, if you were just wanting to fast for body fat utilization to start bringing that out, you can do anything that, let me get specifically. I wanted to know the numbers, like what is it that breaks it and what can you stay within? Let me get these numbers. Okay. Maybe. I think it was under 100 calories. Hang on. Okay. There's so much stuff. Hang on. I just want to give you guys the most accurate thing. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I have so far. So there's one researcher who says to go by the 1 gram rule. This means having no more than a combined 1 gram of protein or carbs. So she uses an example of a medium stalk of celery. I'm just going to throw this out there as an example. A medium stalk of celery has 0.55 grams of carbohydrates, 0.07 grams of fat, and 0.28 grams of protein. So when you combine them all, you end up with 0.83 total grams of all of those 3 things, which is theoretically won't break a fast because it's under that 1 gram rule. But then we have, other thoughts of fats, right? Okay, so fats. So when you're eating fats, it's not necessarily elevating insulin. Insulin is the kicker. Okay. So I'm just let's go back down to bare bones as I'm just kind of talking as I'm thinking. So when you come down, like boil it all down, and I'm even like thinking back, when I was in school, like basic nutrition and metabolism. So when you boil it all down, if you are affecting insulin and blood sugar consistently, and you've already filled up I think I talked about this last week, and you've already filled up all of your stores of sugar in your muscles and your liver. Wow. Once that storehouse is filled up, if you're having more foods that are stimulating blood sugar, once your storehouses are full, it's going to now go into storing as body fat. Okay. That's basically how it works. So once you've depleted and utilized all of your stored sugars in your muscles and in your liver, then your body and insulin is low, then you open up that floodgate to start, like I talked about this last week. Yeah, you start pulling out body fat and using that as energy, which is the ketosis, right? So that's honestly, that's it. That's the key. That's what we need to do. So that's why a keto, if you're only doing keto but not fasting, that's how keto works. It's because it keeps your insulin levels really low. It keeps your blood sugar really low, and it forces your body over time to start using your stored sugars at first. And then once those are depleted, if you continue eating ketogenic, then it starts going to body fat for fuel. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Okay. So yeah, so that's how our bodies work. That's just human physiology. So and that's how this is all going to work. So as far as breaking a ketogenic fast, you need to elevate we talked about this before. You need to elevate your blood sugar a little bit for insulin to respond. So carbohydrates, like we know already, will break a fast. So any form of carbohydrates, 1 gram or more, will break a fast. Fats are unique because they won't necessarily elevate blood sugar. A pure fat, let's say just like oil, right? A pure fat won't elevate blood sugar. So it'll keep you in ketosis. However, for some people, it can decrease blood sugar further, which is fascinating. So I've kind of looked into this because it's something I've kind of experienced where if I'm fasting, let's say I'm doing a longer fast, like 24 or more, and at night I'm like, I really need something to get through. So I'll grab, it's kind of gross and I probably should do this again, but I grabbed a tablespoon of coconut oil and just ate it, and I ended up super nauseous like a half hour later. and so I asked some people, I'm like, so what's going on? They're like, oh, your blood sugar's dipping. And that feeling of nausea is it also significant of blood sugar getting too low. So if you are fasting and not necessarily eating anything, but you're feeling nauseous, it's an indicator of your blood sugar being really low. And at that point, you can break the fast if you want to. You can take some minerals and see if it kind of offsets it a little bit. And I've done that before, like just put some salt in my tongue when I'm feeling nauseous. And it does really work. It offsets it. But if it's not doing that, if it's not changing anything, then break the fast. So, but with the healthy fats, you're not, spiking your blood sugar really fast either. So yeah, so fats can also bring blood sugar down even further. So that's something just to be aware of. Pure fat without protein. So like, for example, peanut butter might not have the same effect because there is some protein in peanut butter, but not enough protein, unless you eat a ton of it, to take you out of ketosis. So when we're fasting and you get to that, what is it, 16, 15, something like that, then you end up starting to get into ketosis. If you have, when later on, let's say 18, 20 hours, you have a little bit of peanut butter, you should still stay in ketosis, even with some peanut butter, no sugar added peanut butter, or avocado, or olives, any kind of pure fat with even just a little bit of protein in it. So, okay, I know I feel like I'm talking in circles, but are you guys getting it? Okay. Yeah, like, and I think it's because too, there's like so much conflicting info out there. The other question too was about bone broth. So bone broth is another one. Have you either of you ladies heard stuff about bone broth? So bone broth is another big one. So bone broth is fantastic for gut healing with the protein and the collagen that's in there. It's also great for your hair, skin, and nails with the protein and collagen. However, for autophagy, it will break autophagy because it has more than 0 calories in it. But it won't necessarily break ketosis. There's people, and I've read this earlier and even yesterday, about there's people that like to do a bone broth fast. But I'm still kind of iffy. I really don't know how much bone broth you can have before you break it. So if you want, what I would say that you can do is, if you are wanting to do something else besides minerals for longer fasts, you can actually do a cup of bone broth, heat it up, and sip on that instead of your minerals, and you'll still get a lot of that great mineralization from it and the healing in your gut if you want to do that. So that's another alternative, something you can do. I just don't know how, I have to look into this, or maybe you guys can too, but how much you can have and still considered being in a ketogenic fast. So I think there's a certain amount of protein that you can go over. I have it in here somewhere. Let me see. And maybe I'll post it for you all, but there's a certain amount. Okay, here we go. Okay, for ketosis, 15 to 20 grams of carbs. That's interesting. I don't know how true this is. It says 15 or 20 grams of carbs breaks ketosis. If you keep under that, you should be good. I don't know. See, there's so much conflicting information. I'm just throwing it out there, but you can look into it too. But for the purest fasts, were you gonna say something in it?
Oh yeah, I was wondering, 15 to 20 grams carbs, but is that at one meal or is it throughout the whole fast?
I think it's for one meal. Like let's say you're in like a 17-hour fast and you want to go a little bit longer, and then you have something with carbs in it. I think it's like at that point, if you have more than that amount, then you'll break a fast. If it's under that, you're still considered fasting.
You can't just do like let's say 12 carbs here and then like 4 hours later do another 12 carbs. That doesn't work, right?
I don't know. Well, if you think so, okay. So metabolically speaking, just kind of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if that much carbs breaks a fast, if you're under that, then you're still technically fasting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you do it like 5 hours later and it's still under that amount, I guess you're technically still fasting. You know what I mean though? Does that make sense? Like, yeah. So, but anyway, for simplicity, the purer the fast, the more effective it'll be.
Right.
And it's
I've
like a lot.
always, yeah, I've always thought that as soon as I start eating, that's the end of the fast, but maybe it's the end
Yeah.
of my autophagy fast, and then maybe I'm
Right.
still in the ketosis fast.
Right. Right. That's the key. I think what happens too is it depends on what your goal is of the fast. So for example, if my goal, let's say my goal is just to be in ketosis, but I love the benefits of autophagy a little bit. So sometimes what I'll do, let's say I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a 24-hour fast, but let's say by like hour 22, I'm like, oh, I really would love something to eat, but I want to stay in ketosis. So I'll go as long as I can in autophagy just to get all the benefits of autophagy. And then I'll break autophagy with some peanut butter, but still stay in ketosis. So, so for me, I kind of like, I'll play with it and kind of find like what I want in the moment. So yeah, so now that I'm learning, my coffee thing, I guess, isn't as effective as it could be. But then some people say, having coffee like during my fast or whatever, just I think I'm still in autophagy, but I guess I'm not. I don't know. But some people will say, no coffee, or some people will say that coffee stimulates autophagy, or green tea. That's another thing, stimulates autophagy. So I think honestly, because all of this science is new, it's like has nuances to it. But like I said, the bottom line is the purer the fast. Like, and it just makes sense, right? The purer it is, the more benefit you'll get from it. So, but it's really up to your body too. And I think over time, at least for me, I've noticed through practice and trial and error, what my body's actually doing moment by moment compared to what research says. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Have either of you been able to kind of figure that out for yourself just by how you feel or by how your body responds? Like, as far as like what's breaking a fast and what's not? And if you can tell yet. Yeah. And I think for me, like the lesson I did learn was having that fat and I got nauseous. For my body, that meant it's bringing my blood sugar down. I didn't check my blood sugar, but I know that nausea is a symptom of low blood sugar if I'm not, eating regular food per se. So yeah, anyway, that's just something to think about. This is all long-term stuff, and just getting really intuitive, listening to your body and like, oh, this is interesting. This is happening to me now, but okay, I guess that means this, so it just comes with practice, I guess. But yeah, So yeah, the purer the fast, the better. And I think too, people really want to try to find foods or workarounds or loopholes that'll make it easier, but still get the same result. And also too, like if you wanted to do like pure gut healing, and let's say you had issues with like Crohn's or some IBS issues or bloating or just abdominal pain or gut issues, then doing a bone broth fast, I think would be amazing. Like, maybe having one for breakfast, one for a lunchtime, and one in the evening, but without other foods, and just on an empty gut, putting that directly in there with no interference, and just using it to heal up your intestinal system, I think would be amazing because of all the health benefits. So again, it depends on what your goal is, what your goal is in the moment. So yep. Yeah. So I think if anything, the question to ask yourself before you start fasting is, what's my goal for this fast? And then it'll determine what you're going to do during the fast to achieve that goal. So, okay. I think that's all I had to say. Any questions? Any thoughts? Yeah, go ahead.
Oops. So I'm taking prednisone again, still for the next couple of days, and
Okay.
I did notice that I need to eat something with it.
Okay.
And I guess I've just started taking it in the morning because that's what I started doing. So what's the best thing to take so I don't have an empty stomach? I mean, I know you don't need a huge meal to be able to take medicine and not have it, Anyway, so what would your suggestions be?
Yeah. So what's your goal right now?
My goal is to get back into the mindset of fasting.
Okay.
So it's not at all a purist thing.
Okay. Yeah. So but your ultimate goal is body fat loss.
Yes.
Okay, and age and all the benefits that go with it. So okay, so you could probably do you need to take it at a certain time of day, or can you take it during your eating window?
No, it's supposed to be in the morning.
In the morning. Okay. You could probably do like a teaspoon of peanut butter or something.
Peanut butter is my trigger food.
Oh, okay.
So I've been doing a couple nuts. Is that?
Yeah, or even like what about avocado?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe
That's
like a quarter or a third of an avocado or something. Honestly, you can do half an avocado, but even just a little bit would help to kind of make it easier. So yeah, have you taken it without food?
I did one day.
And did it make you feel nauseous?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I know this can be strong.
The next day I realized, oh, that's because that medicine.
Yuck. Ugh. Yeah. So how's your breathing? I remember last time we were on, you were telling us.
It's gotten better.
Okay.
I want it to be, like 100% okay. And I'm not at that point yet. Okay. But I did get results from the doctor saying that, all the tests for valley fever, pneumonia, blah, blah, blah. I don't have any of those issues. So it's pretty much the asthma. So,
okay.
So not sure where to go from here, but I should be more thankful that I'm just thinking about that this morning, that compared to, a week ago or whatever it was, it is better.
Oh, good. Good. Yay. So you think it is asthma then? Is that the conclusion? Yeah. Are you taking anything for it yet, or?
The prednisone, and then I'm still doing the inhaler. I just feel like that really, I don't know if that really works or not, but I think I also realized this morning that it's the consistency to, just keep doing it every day. Because it probably isn't going to heal overnight.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
More reason to get back into autophagy.
Autophagy. Yeah. I know I was going to say, if anything, it'll be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I say, yeah, if you can. Well, I guess if you're eating something in the morning.
Yeah.
Honestly, I guess if you stop eating earlier in the day, you just flip it around. Maybe
that's true.
Are you open to eating breakfast and then just stopping early, like eating breakfast and lunch?
That sounds very challenging.
Because you'll be doing the same amount of time of fasting, but just like.
You're right. It's just, that's why I'm interested to hear what Dr. Nina has to say on Tuesday, because it's the evening eating.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Talk about an opportunity for growth. That's a big one, right? I know. Yeah. Like I was saying, like there's certain things that are scary and certain things that are like, wait, what do I do with myself? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, just a thought, but yeah, I mean, it's something that you could do that way. If to heal, I guess the why has to be strong enough, right? So if you really are wanting to go into autophagy for as long as possible to help heal your breathing, and it's really valuable, then making a decision to just do it that way might carry you through the evening, knowing that it's healing you.
Yes. Like, thank you.
Yeah. 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 That's why those whys are amazing. Like if it's strong enough, it's like, it's more powerful. That why is more powerful than the need to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So give it I mean, why not? I mean, do you like breakfast food?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can flip it around. I know we get so used to doing our, breakfast or pushing off breakfast or waiting till lunch fasting. But yeah, when my husband said yesterday, he's like, oh, he saw him in the afternoon after work. And he said, I'm just so you know, I'm not eating dinner tonight. And I was like, okay. He's like, on purpose this morning, I ate a big breakfast. He went out with his friend. And I decided I'm going to do a 24-hour fast. And I was like, oh yeah, you can do it that way too. I was like, oh yeah, there's options besides just my little box,
Yeah.
So anyway, but then you also be getting the benefits of the prednisone, working through your body, and then the autophagy just kind of kicking it into full gear.
Yeah.
To help your body heal itself. Yeah. That's cool. Anyway, Yeah, let me know. I mean, if that's something that you decide to do and how it goes, that'd be really cool to see. So, yeah. And if anything, you can use your evening time for prayer and meditation, if you need a little moment to go away, you know. So anyway, okay. So how have you been otherwise? How's this week been? How are things going? Do you have any questions or need anything?
Um, it's been going good. I'm back to no sugar after my binge,
Oh, okay.
and that's been good. And it's shown up in weight loss.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Because I remember when we talked last time, you mentioned that you were away and then you lost the weight and then you came back and it came back or something.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So the sugar added quite a few pounds, but now it's now those are going back down again. So that's good.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So do you feel like that was the contributor? Was the
Yeah.
sugar? Okay. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Now you know that about your body, right?
Yeah.
You can see that's your indicator of like, okay, this is what I can do once in a while, but then I know when I want to get back down, this is what I can do to solve that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's great. That's really a big insight because a lot of people don't really know that or don't get that. And they feel like they're always guessing. It's like, oh man, what did I do? Or what do I need to do to get back to where I was? But yeah, it just takes practice to start learning that. So that's cool. Yay. Um, awesome. So sugar, and then when you do the evening eating, what types of foods do you feel like you're going to? Like carby foods, or how does that end up working for you?
Um,
Or are you avoiding it right now? I'm not sure.
no. What I go to is, this sounds silly, is the sugar-free peanut butter and sugar-free chocolate chips.
Oh, okay.
And kind of my mindset was, okay, I was obviously craving sweets, and that's,
Mhm.
to the sugar binge,
Okay.
beyond a binge, shall we say. And so I just for the time thought, okay, so no more sugar. And, if I do peanut butter and chocolate chips every night and it's too much, probably the quantity's too big, it's okay because I'm getting, getting rid of the sugar, and the peanut butter is going to be my transition.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, like in the sugar detox group last week, I was talking about, those appetite hormones. So when we eat sugar, it actually makes us more hungry. And then when we're eating fat and protein, it makes you less hungry. It shuts off the hunger. So that's actually a really good alternative. I know and it's not going to bring your insulin up or your blood sugar per se. So I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah. Is it satisfying? Do you feel like you're getting
Yeah,
something out of it? Okay, good. Good. Okay.
definitely.
And then for the chocolate chips, the sugar free, right? You said chocolate chips. Do you know what's in them? Like what kind of sugar's in them or any sweetener?
There is a sweetener.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's sugar alcohols. I mean, I know that could
Like
mean a lot.
xylitol or sucralose.
Hang on, I can go.
Okay.
It is maltitol.
Maltitol. Okay. So I would say, okay, cool. Oh, neat. So I would say they have probably a little bit of a bitter taste, right? More, no, they don't. Oh,
Not to me.
okay. Okay. So which is fine for now. It's a good start. I would say when are ready to replace it with dark chocolate.
I don't like dark chocolate.
Okay. Okay. So
And
maybe
I just don't like the taste of it.
okay, yeah, it's really bitter. Are you a coffee person or no?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because it's similar, isn't it? I would equate dark chocolate with a coffee flavor. Or not for you.
I'm a weird coffee drinker. I only drink flavored coffee, like a caramel flavor, and I make it much weaker than, you know.
Oh, so it doesn't have as much like rich, dark flavor
Right.
like black coffee or dark chocolate would have. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a dark chocolate's like a love hate. It's an acquired taste. And yeah, it takes time. Yeah, that's for sure. I know it's funny because my kids, they used to joke with me because we have dark chocolate at home. And so they would go, oh, that's gross. Or I would get like this, I would try like something crazy and get like 100% or something crazy, you know? And I would joke with them, oh, try this. You're going to love it. Right. And they put it in a little piece in their mouth, like, this is gross. Right. But now, like, I don't, maybe a year ago was the first time I went back into my cabinet and looked like a little mouse rummaged through the foil of the dark chocolate pack. And I was like, what happened? And I asked my son, I'm like, are you eating my dark chocolate? He's like, oh, yeah, that was me. And I was like, wow, they actually are eating it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's one of those things they thought I was crazy. But I guess over time, I guess if that's all the chocolate you have, I'll go for it. But anyway, yeah, I just had to share that about acquiring it, but I just thought it was funny. So anyway, maybe someday, maybe not, I don't know. But okay, yeah, but that's great. Yeah, definitely the peanut butter's fine. And I know me saying take it easy on the maltitol is ideal, but when you're ready for that, maybe just kind of like bring the ratio up of peanut butter and down of the chocolate. Well, you know, right? Yeah. So, but then sometimes too, it's one of those things that's like, well, I'm not supposed to have it. And then it's like, oh, well, now I want it more. Or now I think about it more, you know, so, you know, I have to kind of ride that line, but yeah. Awesome. Well, good job. So it sounds like whatever you're doing is working. So
yeah. I lost my, oh, there we go. Okay.
Are you getting flipped around now too?
I don't know what I'm doing. There we
go. Okay, well, awesome. Very good. All right, Annette, how are you doing? How was your week?
Oh my goodness. It was busy as always. Keep thinking, okay, the kids are in school. It's going to get better.
No.
There's always something else coming up.
Yeah.
But
so,
it's okay.
I know that's the thing. It's like when my friends, I have kids in school too. It's like actually one of my friends who has been homeschooling since forever. And she decided to put her kids at a school this year. And she kind of felt weird. She's like, what am I going to do? So I texted her the other day. I'm like, how was your first day? And she goes, it was busier than ever. And I think what happens, like, I know if I had the time, I would like find all kinds of things to fill it. Yeah. So I don't know if that's what happened for you, but I know that's probably what would happen for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You find stuff to do. Yeah. So how did you manage your busyness this week? I know we talked about, you know, stress and cortisol and all that stuff.
Yeah, I did a lot of, you know, the affirmations in the morning, from putting that into my routine and, you know, listening to them. And it's really easy to do if I'm doing chores around the house. It's pretty easy. Yeah. You know, yeah, I'm just listening as I'm doing it. And it's kind of calming me down, even though I'm in motion.
Yeah.
You know, my husband, he can't meditate. He has to run. That's his meditation. Yeah. So he runs every morning. Yeah. But I'm not a runner. So just being in motion and listening is good enough for me. And then I have my body squats, my body weight squats. Okay. When I first get up, like if I'm like thinking, oh, I have a lot to do today, I'm just going to do this right now in my bathroom. Just, yeah. Okay, good. Right away. Awesome. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, it makes a big difference. It kind of becomes a new habit too. Yeah. Yeah. And then, my husband and my kids, if they see me do that, they're like, okay, whatever, just doing your thing again. Just randomly, you know. I know, me too. I'm like feet in the grass out there. I'm like, is anybody seeing me? I don't know, but whatever. Yeah. Like, whatever, mom's doing another weird thing. I don't know. Oh my gosh. And you know, Kari, she's talking about not liking dark chocolate. You know, I didn't either. I did not like dark chocolate. I was a milk chocolate girl. So, but I made the transition. So how did you do it? What was your process? Do you remember? I just told myself if I was going to have any chocolate, it was going to be dark chocolate. So it's kind of like just getting used to it, I guess. Just making the decision. I just didn't have milk chocolate in the house. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe that's
so is there a good brand, or, you know, like if I were to go? Well,
you know, there's different, you know how there's different percentages of it. And like there's 72%. What's mine? Mine's Lint, I think. thing.
I have that
I
one
don't
too.
know. I have to go get it. But I do the one that's 85% now, but I can't really do the 90% one. I don't know why. I just,
Yeah.
So
there's still sweetness in the 85.
Okay. So
Yeah,
start with
even
a low percent and move up.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, start with a lower percentage. I know
Yeah,
there's
start
like
with the 70 something. Yeah.
or even 60
or the one
something.
that says dark chocolate, but doesn't have a percentage. It's just more, it's less like milk chocolate. You kind of like wean yourself off.
Ah,
If I were to do that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think like Dove has that.
Oh,
The Dove
Yeah, there's a
chocolate
lot of different brands.
yeah, or Lint. Yeah, I know they have
Yeah.
Lint. Yeah. But then she's avoiding sugar right now. I guess it's just practice.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's like that fine. I don't know. I guess if it's a means to an end,
yeah.
that's fine. Yeah. You can enjoy that with your peanut butter. Oh my gosh, that's like my kryptonite. Peanut butter and dark chocolate is so
Oh,
good.
mine's my macadamia.
Macadamia. Oh man, I know. And like I realized too, if they're salted macadamia nuts, it's even tastier. It's like that salt and that savory fat, salt fat combo, like potato chips. That's like the killer combo. I know, like even like food manufacturers know that like that's something to your brain chemistry. I don't know, but it's the fat and salt. That's how they get people to get hooked on food in general, right? If you think about it, like fast food is all like that, or chips, like people, that company says, I bet you can't eat just one. They know that.
They know that we can't. Yes. Even if I pour out just a serving, it's
Yeah, no,
it's going back to the bag.
I know, me too. Phew, I'm glad I'm not the only one. All right, Kari, I don't know if you like macadamias or not, or not. They're going to bring you into the fold. I know. Yeah, I think it's in the salted ones too. I was doing the unsalted ones for a long time, but then when I got to the salted, now it's hard to go back to the unsalted. Oh well, it's all good. The healthy fats, we'll consider it. Just there's pleasurable foods even when you're eating healthfully.
Yeah, so, definitely.
That's funny. Plus the minerals, right? We need the salt minerals from the salt. I'll justify it. But anyway, yeah, no, that's a good idea. That going from the less dark to the more dark gradually. That's smart. Good idea.
We'll see.
Yeah. I know. I can't wait to hear. So anyway, okay, Annette. So yeah, so you had a busy week. You mentioned about the walking or the moving and the listening to the meditation. So there's something about that. I don't know if you guys have heard this before too, but something about like being in motion is meditative. Like your husband likes to run, like just going for it. Yeah, right. Yeah, or just like going for a walk, an evening walk after dinner. It's just something about like moving forward. I forget exactly what happens, but it's like it's like almost psychological. It's showing that you're making forward progress, like your body's moving through space and like you're making forward motion than just being stagnant. But yeah, there's something really powerful about motion, like moving forward. But even like you said, but listening to the meditation and doing that is probably really helpful too. So, or like getting it in. How does it help you? Have you noticed, like, if you're walking around
I think it centers me, and I guess I'm being grounded too, because I'm just I'm walking and I'm moving. I'm not just stationary, and I'm not just. I'm thinking about it as I'm doing my chores too. It's like, how when you just are zoning out, you're doing what you do naturally when you do a chore, right? You don't have to think about it. Right. So I'm thinking about the words that are, in my headphones and the affirmations. And I just I guess I feel more productive too, rather than just sitting there and listening to it. So
for sure. Yeah.
It's not totally like multitasking. I'm only doing one thing really, right. But my mind is focused.
Like you're doing a mindless activity that kind of like your muscle memory can do that. But then you can, it's not distracting to take you away from listening to the meditation. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it's like walking and listening to something, but like a meditative walk, not like I guess I'm even running. I mean, exercise really opens up your brain. So it's like it with HIIT, it stimulates autophagy. HIIT training, it stimulates autophagy too, but then also having your heart rate up and like you're open. Everything's open when you're exercising. Your brain, your what's it called? Your pores, like everything is like heightened. So I could see how that would be really cool. Like you're just absorbing more and more stuff. So cool. Anything else? How's your
Still
fasting
not
week?
doing so good on sleep. I'm doing I'm doing better, 6 to 7 hours a night, but I still want to get to 7 to 8.
Yeah. So what do you think it'll take for you? Like what do you need to alter or change in your lifestyle for that to happen?
I can't sleep in because everybody else is getting up, so that's impossible. So I just have to go to bed earlier.
Oh, so it's your so you have kind of like a forced wake up time.
I just have to stop.
Oh, do you feel like you have that like that creative mode in the evening, or like that clarity?
Yeah, it's just whenever I start doing something, it doesn't matter what it is. If I'm involved in it, even if it's going through emails or researching, it's just like you just get into that, and then all of a sudden, where did the hour go? The 2 hours go? I mean, like I'll have an alarm on my phone telling me, it's time to go to bed, and I'm thinking, okay, I will, and then I just want to finish.
I know, that's tough.
Yeah.
Is there a way you can start earlier, or is it like that particular time just work really well for you?
No, I think I'm just that kind of person that I like to be doing something all the time. So I just have to make a decision to stop.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel tired during the day with not that much sleep?
Kind of. I do, especially when I was getting less than 6 hours a night. That was not good. Okay. I don't like that feeling. I haven't, well, you know how it is when you have young ones and who are up all night.
Yeah, right.
And you feel like foggy in the daytime.
Right.
It's not good.
Oh, no. I know. Yeah, it's just not yourself. I know. Yeah. Yeah, and I know when it happens to me too, it's like I can't exercise. So just like I don't have it together enough to make up with like more stress. I guess it just puts more stress on your body, really, because it's, when you're tired, it's a stress.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to lower my stress. So that's why.
Yeah. So I guess you can even like frame it so it's like a fasting schedule, but with sleeping.
Yes.
So you could have
I'm trying to put myself on
a waking window schedule. And a sleeping window.
Yeah.
Shut off the awake window.
It's time for bed. Let's go.
Just like fasting. You need like one of those, like an app. I'm sure there is one.
Yeah.
Like a sleep trainer or whatever they call it for scheduling, or on your phone or your watch or whatever.
I will look at my phone and it says I'm supposed to be asleep right now. Oh. I'm like, whoops, I'm not asleep.
But even like we were talking, like I was mentioning with Kari, like if your why is strong enough for needing sleep. Right. As I was wondering how much if it's really that bothersome to you or not. Because if it's really not that bothersome, there's not gonna be as much motivation to change it. But that at 5, forget it. Like that's bothersome. Like operating in 5 hours of sleep is gonna mess you up. But at like 6 or 7, does that mess you up? If you have 6 or 7 hours of sleep in it, does that mess you up, or just the 5?
If I need to have 7 at least, I think.
Okay.
That's my minimum.
Okay. Yeah. But 6, you still kind of feel groggy during the day? Are they talking back there?
My family's getting up.
Okay. All right, we'll finish up. But anyway, but at 6 do you still feel groggy?
I guess it's a borderline.
Okay, so it's Okay, so I guess if anything, that could be your motivation is like, okay, at 6, 5, and 6, that's like that's where you define your window, right? And then so just I guess if anything, like keeping that in mind, okay, if I stay up this long, how am I going to feel the next day? And I guess if you do it, if you have a negative consequence enough, then you're like, I can't do this anymore. And then that's when the why is really strong. It's like, okay, this is like, I can't do this anymore. I need to change it. Then operating in that why, that reason why, will naturally make you, want to be on track for your sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yay. I know. I was like translating too, even with like my family, about screen time and phone time. I told my husband, I'm like, let's do it like we do it with fasting. Like, let's have a screen time window and a no screen time window. Like now that we're strengthening this part of our brain with fasting and eating, maybe we can translate it to other areas of our life that need that same thing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm sure it's, life operates like this in so many ways, with having an open and a closed window for certain things. I guess even relationships too, right? Or people. It's like, okay, I can handle people for this long. Now I need to go away and recharge, that kind of feeling.
That definitely is me.
Yeah. You're like, I need a minute. Yeah. And some people need longer than others, but anyway. Okay. I think that's pretty much all I have for today. Thanks for the recap of how you're doing. That's the best part. I love hearing and being able to share and understand that we're all in this together and that we're all human. We all have the same, honestly, we're not that different from each other. Our bodies are designed pretty much the same way. So, and I think if we know that, and then we can inspire each other knowing that, to go further or to do bigger things or to try new things, that's really great. So that's why I love community, because of that. So anyway, so thank you for being here. And then we'll be meeting next time on Thursday at 1. So I'm going to put that in our group as well. Yeah, we'll just see how that works. We'll go with that for a little while. And yeah, and then otherwise Tuesday at 11 Pacific Standard, we'll have Dr. Nina on and we'll talk to her and we can do some Q&A with her afterwards too. I know she has a radio show that she does, so she has to be done at the hour. So I'll try to make it as concise as possible so she can do her thing. So anyway, okay, ladies, have a fantastic Saturday. Thank you for being here. I love chatting with you all, and I'll see you on Tuesday and or Thursday. Okay, bye. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, bye.